Hello friends, welcome to my channel Sushant Chess Wise. Today we are going to the next topic which is based on middle games. So discovered attack and discovered check. We will try to cover both the topics in one lesson. First let us understand what is discovered attack. So whenever there are three pieces in a line, we see that two of the pieces are own pieces and there is one piece which is behind, that is the opponent's piece. So what will happen, the piece which is in the middle, we will try to remove it. Okay, and the piece which is down, it will attack the last piece. So there are three. So here let's look at this position. White noted that the black rook is unsupported. Okay, so he wants to move the bishop. So if he moves the bishop just like that, then the rook just takes the rook and there will be an exchange. The rook is supported by the knight. So what white does here is he wants to move the bishop by an attack. So see, this bishop moves and attacks the queen, okay, and the rook attacks the rook which is undefended. So in this case what has happened, the cover has been moved, see, between from this rook's cover has been moved by the bishop, okay, and now if rook takes the rook, then white takes bishop into queen, okay, and the white position is winning here. If bishop takes, then knight takes the rook, and if the rook moves away, then bishop will exchange the bishop. Okay, so white will get queen for rook over here. Okay, let's see after before if there is any other way to save the rook. So queen can go to a4, but the knight is attacking. Queen cannot go to b5 again because the knight is attacking. And if black saves the rook, then again bishop into queen. So here there was no way to protect the rook. So this is about discovered attack. The middle piece is moving and the base piece is attacking the opponent's piece. Let's look at next position. Let's look at the next position here. We note that white pieces are very active. Okay, queen is in the middle of the board, the rook is on the open file, knight is ahead, and bishop is able to attack along the diagonal. So white notes one thing here, that this queen, this knight and the rook, they are coming in the same diagonal. Okay, so another thing what we saw in the last position, pieces must be on the same line. So here the pieces are on the same diagonal. White realized that he can take the rook, okay, but this knight has to move forcefully here. Okay, so what are the ways? Here in this case, if knight goes to h7 with a check, then rook takes the knight and the queen is unable to take the rook. So white moves the knight in such a way that knight also attacks something. So knight comes to d5. Okay, this move is not very difficult to miss once we know that the queen is attacking the rook. Now what has happened here? The knight attacks the queen and the queen attacks the rook. So basically it's kind of double attack, but two pieces, they are attacking separate pieces. In double attack, one piece attacks two things. So that is the difference. Now if the queen moves away, let's say queen d6, then queen into h8 is checkmate. Same here again, after pawn takes knight, queen takes the rook, it is checkmate. It means now black has to move the rook. So either rook g8 or rook h7, to both knight takes the queen and white will win the game. Okay, let's look at next one. Let's look at the next position. Here we see that the material is equal, but white's pieces are very active. Already white has completed his development. The queen, rook, this rook on f1, bishop and knight, all are developed. 5 pieces are developed. And if we look at black, just he has castled and the bishop is developed. Okay, so the queen, knight and the rook, they are badly placed. What white notes here, that the g2 bishop is capable of attacking the b7 bishop, so they are on the same diagonal. Okay, white queen is very active, it's attacking the square near the king, so it attacks the h7 pawn. So what white understood, that this knight if moved, then black is able to capture bishop into bishop. So this knight has to move with an attack. Okay, so white plays knight to g5. Okay, now see, good move. It's a simple double attack. Knight attacks h7 and bishop attacks b7. Okay, so this is the discovered attack. The cover which was the knight is removed. Now if bishop takes bishop, then queen into h7 is checkmate. This square is guarded by the knight. And suppose queen takes the knight, which is almost forced. Then bishop takes the bishop. Now the rook is getting trapped. So it has not just been an exchange. Now the knight moves. Okay, so that this rook at least supports the rook. Bishop takes and rook takes the bishop. So what has happened? White has become an exchange up in the process and the position is winning. Next, white should try to trade the queens and trade one of the rooks. Then rook versus knight will be an easy win. I hope you understood this concept. In the next positions, we'll try to cover what is discovered check. Let's look at the next position here. This is the first position of discovered check. Now the difference between discovered attack and check is that in discovered check, what will happen? The piece which is at the starting, that will give check. Okay, so we should not get confused by the middle piece giving check. Okay, if the middle piece is giving check, so this is just a discovered attack if the behind one is not giving check. So what happens here? The middle piece will move away and the behind piece will give check. That is discovered check. So the cover is moved between these two pieces. Okay. So now here what happens? It looks as if white is able to win in many ways. For example, bishop comes to e3, queen gives check. Okay. But black can interpose his queen here and stop the check. And this position finally will be winning for black because queen takes, queen pawn takes, then two rooks versus rook and bishop. The position will be equal. So what white has to do here is he has to attack the queen from bishop a5 move, from the a5 square. Now what happens? Here if queen comes to d6, then see the c7 pawn is getting pinned. And now queen takes the queen for free. Okay, white's position is winning over here. And any other move by the king, because it's a check, then simply bishop takes the queen and queen for rook position is easily winning for white. I must tell you one more thing over here. After the move bg5 check, it's a double check. After white, black plays k e8 or even k c8. So it's not possible to mate from the d8 square because of the rook. And even in k c8, it's not possible to mate because of the other rook here. So the correct move is bishop a5. Okay, when white wins the game. Okay, let's look at one more position. Next position here, black's last move was queen a4. Okay, it's an interesting position. Let's look at the king position. Black king is stuck in the middle. Okay, and white is better developed than black. So it looks as if it's easily possible to take the queen. Okay, for example, queen takes d8. So what we see first here, this rook, bishop and the opponent's rook, they are all in the same line. So what happens? Right now discovered check is not possible. So white thinks queen into d8 check. Okay, then king takes d8 and now bishop into b5. It looks like after bishop into b5 the queen would be taken for free and it's winning. But that's not the case. Now black has got queen into rook. Okay, and after rook into queen, although we can say this position is very good, after bishop into a6, white is pawn up and might be able to convert the game, but the presence of opposite colored bishops will make it difficult. Okay, so what white saw in the game is much better. Let's see. So after the move queen takes d8, king takes d8, white goes for a stronger move, bishop c2 check. Now what happens? The bishop has moved and the rook is giving check. At the same time, the bishop from c2 is stopping queen into d1. So what will happen here? After the move ke7 or kc8, bishop takes queen, pawn takes bishop, and this position is easier to win because white is an exchange up. So rook versus bishop. Okay, and rook for rook. So this position is easier to convert. Immediately we can attack this a4 pawn by rook a1. Okay, or else we can try to bring both rooks double on the d file by rook d2, rook d1, and then white will be able to convert the game. Let's look at one more position. This is the last position. We see that the white pieces are again attacking near the king. Okay, white is very much active over here. The queen, bishop and this bishop are developed. At the h1 rook also we can consider developed over here because rook is on the open file and that too it is attacking near the king. Okay, what we can see here, black pieces other than the rook and bishop, everything else is undeveloped. Okay, So white goes for the most obvious move, bishop h7 check. There were 3 attacks on h7. Okay, but the point is, till the previous move there was no scope for discovered check. Now what has happened? After bh7 check, the king, bishop and the rook, all the 3 have come in the same line. Now this bishop has to move, but there is a problem. If bishop keeps on moving on this diagonal, black can simply interpose this bishop or go back to king g8. Okay, so white finds the right move, bishop g8 check. Now let's look at some interesting variations. If bishop comes to h4, stopping this rook check by the rook, then because rook into bishop, then queen is protecting. So what white does here? Queen h7 checkmate. The queen is guarded by the bishop. Same happens to the move bishop h6. Queen goes to h7 and checkmate. And if king takes the bishop, then queen h7 mate. So what we did here in this position, we saw the middle piece is not attacking any piece, but it is forcing the king's move. Okay, or it is keeping the h7 square attacked. So we cleared the path. Okay, so such a sacrifice bg8 can be called a clearance sacrifice. We will be doing that in our upcoming lessons. Okay, so this was all about discovered check and discovered attack. I tried to cover both of them in one lesson because we are doing at a beginner level now. Later on we will be doing the same things at more advanced level. Okay, I hope you are enjoying the lessons. Do like, share and subscribe the channel. Thanks for your time.